John Blake presents The Dirty Dozen, written by Noel Smith and read by Karl Jenkinson.
Forward by Noel Smith. The story you are about to listen to is all true. The Dirty Dozen were a real and serious armed robbery gang from northwest London who committed hundreds of raids on banks, security vans, post offices and travel agents. They stole hundreds of thousands of pounds during a decade-long crime spree. The leading lights of the gang were all second-generation Irish, the sons of Irish immigrants who had settled in London in the 1950s. The original leader of the Dirty Dozen was Gentleman Jimmy Doyle, a ruthless robber, but with a touch of panache and style about him. Doyle had a good reputation in the criminal underworld as a staunch man. He was an old-fashioned bank robber who saw what he did as his job and took pride in his work. The gang never offered gratuitous violence to members of the public, though they were obviously expert at using the tools of violence, including threats, intimidation and aggression, in order to achieve their aims. Jimmy Doyle was eventually captured by the flying squad in the commission of a bank robbery in 1992, and, while on remand, he escaped custody and fled to Ireland. Extradited a year later, he was eventually sentenced to prison for 24 years at the Old Bailey in 1995. 2 years later, he escaped from a prison van while being transported between prisons and disappeared off the radar for many years. Doyle died peacefully in Killorglin, Ireland, on the 30th of April, 2013. The unique thing about the Dirty Dozen was their fluidity and power of regeneration. Like the Hydra, you could cut off one of their heads and two more would immediately take its place. The original gang, led by Jimmy Doyle, fostered criminal understudies, younger gang members who were eager to step up when their time came, carrying on the traditions of those who had gone before. They had easy access to firearms and the will and recklessness to get into the game and keep it running for as long as they were able. Though the Dirty Dozen were a loose federation of criminals, their loyalty to each other was what helped them to reign for so long as kings of their trade. It must be borne in mind that in London there are special police squads dedicated to catching armed robbers, and only armed robbers, specifically the Flying Squad, who make it their business to target armed robbery gangs and to put not inconsiderable manpower and resources to work on the problem. The fact that the Dirty Dozen were active for so long proves that they were a tight-knit organisation. Most members had grown up with each other and were very familiar with the rules, the unwritten criminal code that old-school criminals attempt to live their criminal lives by. The number one rule is no grassing. When Jimmy Doyle and several other gang members were arrested, convicted and then jailed back in the 1990s, two contenders for the throne stepped forward. The Bradish brothers proved more than capable of assuming the mantle of vacant leadership. Under the Bradish boys, the Dirty Dozen flourished and added plenty to their gangland legends. I first came across Sean and Vinnie Bradish when we were all serving long prison sentences as Category A prisoners in HMP Whitemoor in Cambridgeshire, one of the highest security prisons in Europe. I was serving 8 life sentences under the Two-Strike Act for armed robbery and possession of firearms, having been sentenced at the Old Bailey in 1998 for a series of bank robberies. My gang were nicknamed the Laughing Bank Robbers by the Flying Squad and the media. Sean and Vinnie were the last of the Dirty Dozen and had been jailed in a blaze of publicity in 2000 on the testimony of a supergrass called Stephen Roberts. In the media reports on the Bradish brothers' case, they were often compared to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?